Welcome back to SICSS-Howard Mathematica. We are on day 3, automated text analysis, and we are about to see some very brief presentations from our lovely teams on what they found in their analyses. So could we please spotlight Rebecca, who will be representing Team Storm?
Okay, cool. Cool. So I was in a really great group, and we decided that we were going to perform. So the one thing I'm going to show right now is the sentiment analysis that we did. So initially, we worked with the data that combined Kamala Harris's tweets from her official vice president account and also the personal account. And the thing that we were interested in was trying to understand how she may have sort of alluded to negative or positive sentiments based on the difference of the type of account, for example. And so I can just share my screen really quick. Cool. So if people can see this, figure 2 here on the top is just the sentiment analysis for her personal account. And then figure 3 over here is the sentiment analysis for her vice president account. And basically the interesting thing to show there is that it seems that comparatively there's a lot more negativity coming from the vice president account than her personal account, which is super interesting. I study political science to sort of think about the ways that political leaders may be incentivized to sort of align their political behavior with that of their party, or sort of lean towards more of the national issues and kind of do a little bit of sort of jousting against other parties. It might be interesting to kind of dive into this a little bit more. But that was kind of the main thing that we found, and we thought that was super interesting.
Awesome. Thank you, Rebecca and Team Storm. Now we will hear from Team Ironheart with JJ presenting. So you can please spotlight her, and I will step back.
All right. Didn't know that will be that fast, but I'm going to share my screen with my art so then we can see the things we do. Can you see my screen here? Okay. So we use the data from the Vice President Harrison's personal tweet account. So the first thing we did is actually we used the dictionary text analysis. So you can see on the left-hand side here, it's just a lot of frequency counts to tell us. But then later on, we did the topic analysis. We try out from 5 to 10K, and then we end up thinking that 6 topics and 7 topics will be the most representative in terms of gathering the meaningful information from his or her personal tweets. As you can see, 6 we can find, she refer Joe Biden president a lot, but then after that you can see the care, health, justice, leader, and then election, America, care, woman, things like that. So that's the things we narrow it down further. So from topic of 5 to 10, we think that 6, 7 will be the most adequately present using the topic analysis. For later on, we do the time series looking at her retweets count. And then you can also look at the time series of tweet and retweet counts. You can see the blue line is the tweets she posts on Twitter, and then retweets is the red line over here. So her retweets mainly or gears towards more around election time period, as you can see, around 2020-ish, and starting to, pretty much stay the same as her tweets. So that's the exercise we did. And then our group, just me and Matteo. Yeah. Okay. Thank you all.
Thank you, JJ, for presenting that. I feel like that time series could be subtitled "We Did It, Joe," and you see the big peak there. Next, we will be hearing from Valkyrie with Hoel. Team Valkyrie, can you spotlight Hoel? Thank you.
Hi, everyone. So our team decided to do 2 analyses with Kamala Harris's tweets, which I will share my screen right now. The first one we did is the text network analysis. The idea is, do the entities that Kamala Harris talks about relate to each other in a specifically structured way based on how she tweets about each entity? So you could see things like United States, et cetera. But this network wasn't really like informative. So I think we're going to spend more time on the structural topic modeling that we did. And for this, I'm going to let Brittany actually take over for the interpretation.
Sure. So we ran a structural topic model on Kamala's tweets. We ended up just setting the number of clusters as 10 just to get a sense of what we would find. And what we did was plot those by approval. So we merged it with the approval data to see how different topics relate to Kamala's approval. And I think what was interesting is that when approval was highest was when Kamala was talking about topics like investing in community and nation, which are pretty like positive topics, and approval is lowest when she's talking about things like elections and Democrats and more like polarized topics. Although, something to point out obviously is that this is correlational, not causal. So it could be that, Kamala's approval rating is high, so she chooses to focus on certain topics or vice versa. Or it could be that, because she's focusing on certain topics, her approval rating is low or high. So something to consider. And we definitely learned a lot doing this. So thank you.
Thank you, Team Valkyrie. This is awesome. And last but not least, we will have Team Okoye with Kevin. Can we please spotlight Kevin?
Which Kevin?
Oh,
Smith, the legend.
Go ahead.
Okay. Yes. This Kevin. But hi, hi everyone. So we tried to do a bunch of different analyses. So I'll just share my screen really quickly. So the one that we settled on was the sentiment analysis. And so basically we wanted to look at the kind of like negative versus positive sentiments of like Harris's tweets, right? And so we basically want to look at them over time, but then we generated these two graphs and they weren't really that informative. So what we basically did is we wanted to plot them all on the same one. And what we kind of show is that over time, her tweets, according to the Bing directory, which it kind of labels different terms as positive or negative, went up over time. And I think that I found very interesting is that the sentiment became really positive after 2022, which again to me kind of makes sense because that was the midterm election, right? So it seems to like really the sentiment of what's positive versus negative seems to vary around elections, right? So like the positive the positive kind of came down as we entered 2022 during campaign season, and then as soon as the elections ended, it went back up, right? While the negative stayed relatively flat. And then what we also did is we try to look at similar to what other groups did, try to look at the most common terms in those tweets. So like POTUS, people, America, health, like these are very similar. But again, as one other group had pointed out, I guess when you use like terms that are more polarizing, so like when you talk about POTUS Joe Biden or you talk about someone else, a political figure or Democrats or whatever, I guess you kind of increase the polarization a little bit. And so it leads to negative sentiment versus more neutral terms like healthcare or like rights or stuff like that. So yeah.
Thank you, Kevin and Team Okoye. Well, Thank you all for sharing your insights. If you would like, you can also post a screenshot of your visualizations in the Slack channel. I will say, being the TA, I definitely learned new things from you all, and it was very heartwarming to see you all sharing your lessons and guiding each other through based on your different expertise. So I look forward to continuing to see what you all create and co-create throughout the rest of SICS. And with that, I will kick it back to Nanette.
Please join me in thanking our teaching fellow. Let's not give you let's make sure we put some respect on your name. You were teaching today. So our distinguished teaching fellow, the hardest working man in SICS, Todd Hall, please join me in thanking him. He'll be joining us next week as a research buddy as well. So we'll have some alums floating around that will come and be cheerleaders as you work on your projects. So you'll definitely see Todd again.
Thank you all for watching. For more information on SICSS-Howard Mathematica, visit our website, follow us on social media, and join our email list.